Hey folks, Krista here. Now, as we move deeper into Sydney Bryson's final days, there's one stop that I couldn't skip, and that's the official names who sit closest to her file. One is the Central Ohio Drug Enforcement Task Force. They're known as CODE. I reached out with direct questions, not accusations and not assumptions, but questions. And I asked, was Sydney Bryson ever a confidential informant? Did she ever cooperate with CODE or any affiliated agency? What safeguards exist for any informants, especially vulnerable women? And did CODE have any involvement in her case? Now, surprisingly, I received a response, and it was from himself, Sergeant Kyle. And I'm not even going to attempt his last name because I totally slaughtered it. That's embarrassing. But yes, he responded himself. And I'm going to let you hear the response exactly as it was written. There's no edits, no interpretation. These are his words. We did use an AI voice, but this is his email back to me.
Dear Ms. Christie, thank you for reaching out to me and for providing me with the opportunity to comment regarding your investigation into the death of Sydney Bryson and the procedures of our confidential informant within the Central Ohio Drug Enforcement Task Force. We appreciate your commitment to responsible and accurate reporting on a matter that has generated significant public interest and concern within Licking County and the Central Ohio region. Please understand that due to the sensitive nature of the issues you have raised, we must adhere to specific protocols within the Licking County Sheriff's Office. The death of Sydney Bryson remains an unresolved case, and the Licking County Sheriff's Office is the lead investigating agency. As a rule, CODE cannot comment on the specifics of any ongoing investigation, nor can we confirm or deny the involvement of any individuals or the use of confidential informants in a particular case. Confidential informants. The security and effectiveness of our investigations rely heavily on the confidentiality of our operational procedures and the identities of those who cooperate with us. State and federal law, including the Ohio Revised Code, generally classify information related to confidential informants as confidential law enforcement investigative records, exempting them from public disclosure. So we won't be able to discuss the specific process, structure, risk assessment methods, or safeguards in place for confidential informants within CODE. Disclosing such internal, tactical information would severely compromise the integrity of our current and future operations and put cooperating individuals at risk. We share your goal of ensuring the public is informed. We remain dedicated to upholding the highest professional and ethical standards in all our law enforcement activities and continue to cooperate with local, state, and federal partners on all investigations. Thank you again for your time and professionalism. We wish you success with your reporting. Sincerely, Sgt Kyle Boestler.
So, what stands out in that message isn't what was said, it's what wasn't said. Now, Sergeant Kyle did not deny that Sydney had contact with CODE. And he didn't deny that her name appears in multiple case files. And he didn't deny that vulnerable people just like Sydney, are used as confidential informants. Instead, we got the response that was leaned into all policy. We cannot comment. We cannot confirm or deny. We cannot discuss procedures. And we cannot explain safeguards. And then there was the one line, though, that mattered more than all the rest. And this is it. The confidential informants' work is so sensitive and so dangerous that even explaining safety protocols could, quote, put people at risk. Now, that sentence tells you everything about the world Sydney was living in. Because if the discussion of safeguards is considered dangerous, what does that say about the people inside that system? Listen, whatever Sydney was, a CI or a witness or a helper or just a name on paperwork, or simply a woman surrounded by rumors she couldn't outrun, the belief that she was cooperating enough that makes her vulnerable, because people in those worlds like that, perception is power. If they think it happened, it's happening. And silence can be deadly. CODE's response doesn't clarify Sydney's role. It doesn't. It doesn't protect her name, and it doesn't correct the record. What it does, though, is build a wall, a professional one, a legal one, a carefully worded one. And when agencies choose policy language over factual answers, it tells us something important, folks. They aren't speaking to inform the public. Listen to that. They are not speaking to educate us. They're speaking to protect their institution. Now, I know that doesn't mean guilt, and it doesn't mean any wrongdoing, but it does mean this. The truth about Sydney's position in that system, whatever it was, is considered too dangerous to even talk about. And that alone explains why rumors around her carried so much weight, and why fear followed her, and why people believed she was marked. And in the end, no one refused to explain who she really was. I've been asked by law enforcement and by others why I continue to refer to Sydney's death as a murder when the official ruling is undetermined. Well, here's the honest answer, okay? Because nothing about her death feels accidental. Because the amount of drugs in her system, and because of her history, because of the circumstances. And yes, because of my gut instinct, informed by years of researching cases just like Sydney's. An undetermined ruling does not mean no foul play. It means the system could not or did not decide. I've never claimed to be a personal or professional investigator. I've never claimed to be law enforcement. What I am is someone who researches, listens, connects patterns, and speaks openly about what doesn't sit right. I share my opinions on every case I cover. This one's no different. Questioning a ruling is not an accusation. Asking hard questions is not a crime. And refusing to accept a convenient explanation, that's not reckless. It's responsible. Sydney deserves so much more than silence. And until the questions are answered, and we will continue to call this what it feels like to many of us, right? It's a death that doesn't add up. So what do you think, folks? What do you think? What's your opinion? What's your thoughts on this issue? Do you think it's okay to use CIs or not? Do you think it needs to be more monitored more? Well, let me know. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Folks, I love you, and as always, be safe, stay alert, and never stop seeking justice.